live from Center One Climbing in Santa Ana, California. This is the final round of the 2014 Sport Climbing Series Open National Championships presented by the North Face and USA Climbing. Tonight we're going to watch as 11 women and 8 men compete for the title of national champion in front of a packed house here at Center One. Thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight. And welcome into our broadcast booth. I'm Brian Runnels. It's Makayla Kirsch, Chris Sharma.
Hey, what's up?
Thanks, guys, for being here. Chris, you've been here all weekend hosting this event at Center One. Talk about the experience that you've had so far.
Yeah, well, it's just great to see everybody having a great time. And, we're just proud to show off our gym. And, it's a special weekend, so...
When you opened the gym, I was talking to one of the owners earlier. That's kind of something that you guys were hoping to do here, host a national level event like SCS Nationals. How important was that for you when you were thinking about this gym?
Yeah, well, definitely it played a part in designing the gym and just trying to orient the main lead wall in a way that we could have spectators here. And yeah, it definitely is like a dream being realized. It didn't expect it to happen so soon. You know, we opened like 9 months ago. So
yeah.
Pretty amazing how fast things have been rolling.
And talk a little bit about what we're going to see here tonight. Who are you excited to see climb in this finals?
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see everybody climb. For the men, Daniel, Carlo, John, Vasya, Maddie. There's a lot of good climbers out there, so It's going to be really exciting. And actually had a chance to try the finals route earlier today, and that was pretty exciting too, to check out, see what they're up against. And after climbing on the route, it seems like it could be anybody's game. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out.
And what else about this weekend? I saw you outside in the dunk tank before, raising a little money for the Access Fund and the American Alpine Club. It's been kind of a fun party outside.
Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, this is a competition, but more than anything, it's just like an excuse for the climbing community to get together and celebrate climbing. And yeah, we're just in a privileged moment in the sport right now. The climbing's growing so much, and it's great just to bring everybody together, have a good time. And of course, we're really fortunate to have organizations like the Access Fund and the American Alpine Club. So whatever we got to do to support them, and if it means getting wet, then that's what we got to do.
When we were talking to you yesterday, you were just coming back from Oman, and you were there for 3 weeks. What's coming up next for you?
I'm going to be here in the U.S. for about 6 weeks. I'm going to be around here in Los Angeles doing some stuff. Hopefully I'll get up to Clark Mountain, work on a project of mine up there, the direct start to Jumbo Love. So
nice.
I'm pretty excited about that. That's like... so Jumbo Love starts, you climb like a 12D pitch up to a no hands rest, then you have the big overhang. And this direct start basically adds like a 14B or something, 14C with no rest into the overhang. So
wow, that'll be cool.
Yeah, it'll be cool. And then I'll be going back to Europe in the summertime. Maybe doing some Cico Block in Mallorca. Yeah.
Nice.
Very cool.
Well, Chris, we really appreciate you stopping by this weekend, hosting this event here. It's been really fun for me to be here. I know Max has had a great time as well.
Absolutely.
And the best part is yet to come as we get set for finals here in just a little bit.
Yeah, well, thanks to you guys for being here as well. And I mean, we're just so proud to show off our gym and to be able to host a comp like this. So it really is an honor.
Well, Chris, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
okay, cool. Yeah, right on, man. Look forward to seeing the finals.
All right, thanks, Chris. All right, thanks to Chris Sharma for stopping by. Always a pleasure to talk with him, Max. We're going to break down the field a little bit here. Start first with the women. We have 11 women tonight. Normally we take 8 qualifiers from our qualifying round, but there are 3 continental champions that made it in the final, so they do not count against that 8 climber quota.
Yep.
That's why we have 11 women tonight, so let's get a little bonus climbing for everybody. Any surprises for you from qualifiers yesterday?
No major surprises. It seems like all the favorites are there. Delaney and Sasha, the 2 most recent former champions of the last 4 years, are both in first and second. Some of the younger climbers, Margaux Haze, Claire Burfind, are hot on their heels. It's their first year competing since they have now just become of age, and they're both still 15 years old. So they're hot on their heels.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting dynamic tonight with the youth contingent competing against some of our more experienced climbers tonight. And let's talk a little bit more about the women's field with our first overall qualifier, Delaney Miller. She talked to Jen Morgan this morning. Let's hear from her.
I'm here with Delaney Miller, and she made it into finals today. So Delaney, you're the defending national champion. How do you feel going into tonight?
I feel really psyched, and I know that it can be anyone's game because all the women who made it into finals are very strong, but As for me, I'm ready, you know?
Have you learned anything from climbing here at Sender 1, climbing on these walls?
The walls are super textured, so I can definitely smear wherever I want.
So what do you do to get in the right mindset?
Mentally, I just do my best to relax and visualize myself, you know, doing well and, you know, believing that I can do it. And once I've done that, then I just try to have fun and relax with everyone else.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you tonight.
Thank you.
Brian, it seems like a lot of these younger climbers are just focusing on having fun, and they've got ice in their veins. They're not too worried about the jitters that a lot of climbers get when they compete in these things.
Yeah, I was just down in ISO with you before we came up here, and the overall atmosphere down there was really relaxed. Everyone was just kind of trying to stay loose, have fun. I think they know that, you know, climbing in front of this big crowd under the bright lights is overall a really fun experience, a unique experience that they get the opportunity to do here.
A lot of these climbers have come up through the ranks of youth competition, and at those events they've got 700 people and parents all watching, and it seems like it just doesn't bother them anymore.
No, it's going to be fun to watch. Really going to be a battle between Sasha DiGiulian and Delaney Miller, the past 4 national champions combined between the two of them. But like we said, there's a young field coming up behind them that could be in for a surprise tonight. We'll have to see. Then transitioning to the men's field, really stacked set of 8 climbers. Anything that stood out from you from qualifiers yesterday?
Nobody that should have made it didn't. Basically, everyone we expected to is in finals. It's kind of the cream of the crop for American sport climbing competitors.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of the cream of the crop, our number 1 qualifier yesterday, Vasily Borotnikov, right on the heels of his second place finish at ABS Nationals, came out here and really threw down the gauntlet during qualifiers and just dominated both routes, set the high point on both. The only male competitor to finish one of the qualifying routes. Jen talked to him this morning. Let's hear from Vasya.
I'm here with Vasya, and he made it into finals last night. You gave an awesome performance. How do you feel about going into tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good. I came in with no expectations. Now going into finals, going to have fun.
So the format tonight, what is it going to be like, and how's that going to change things up from qualifiers yesterday?
Right, so this one is the on-site round, so that means we have to read the sequence better because nobody else is going to tell you how to do it. It's going to be a whole new game because now we're competing. You know, this is the real competition for me.
How do you feel about Daniel Woods tonight, and do you think that this is going to be your year?
Well, Daniel is not unbeatable in competitions. He is definitely one of the best climbers outside. But, you know, here it's fair game. It's anybody's game. It's about having the fitness. It's about, you know, all kinds of things that can go right or wrong. So, you know, I think in the end it's just going to come down to who is going to be feeling the best tonight. And
so in the past years, you've come really close to being our national champion. What's it going to feel like if you get to that spot tonight?
It's just going to feel really good. And that's I think these competitions are really a gamble because all of the guys coming in are super fit, and it's just hard to beat them. So it's going to be a fun gamble, though.
Great. Well, we really look forward to seeing you tonight.
All right. Thanks.
All right, Max, what do you make of Vasya's performance yesterday combined with his thoughts in that interview right there?
Well, in one sense, he's saying that he's just thinking about having fun, but I know Vasya, and he's definitely ready to throw down the gauntlet. He's one of the fiercest competitors we have ever seen in U.S. climbing history, and after having a bit of a lull for a few years there, he's definitely back on the scene really hard. He's coming off second place at ABS Nationals. He's clearly looked like the fittest competitor yesterday, so I think his head is in the game and he's ready to perform today.
And like you were talking about ABS Nationals, it seems like there's a real legitimate rivalry between him and Daniel Woods. Daniel, obviously 8-time reigning ABS national champion, reigning national champion in sport climbing. Vasya has won this event 2 years ago, so we know that he's capable. And there's really like this back and forth competition between them. What's that like for them, you think, when they're out there on the wall?
Well, there's a great respect between the two. I think Daniel really appreciates how much of a competitor Vasya is, because a lot of climbers are very mellow, and Vasya really takes it to the next level when he competes. Like he performs to the level that he's expected to and beyond. and never seems to have a bad day. So I think Daniel respects that. And Vasya maybe knows that Daniel is usually stronger overall, but Vasya can raise his game to meet Daniel's.
Yeah, I think Daniel knows that he's going to have to bring his A game tonight if he wants to beat Vasya and the rest of our stack field with guys like John Cardwell, Carlo Traversi, and others. So it's going to be cool to watch. Jen got to chat with Daniel this morning, find out how he's feeling. Let's hear from Daniel.
So I'm here with Daniel Woods, and you are a national champion last year. So how did you feel coming into this qualifier yesterday?
Felt actually pretty relaxed and just psyched to climb. I haven't really climbed in the last week, so I was a little antsy to get on the wall and just move around, and really no expectations. What my only goal was to get to today, so hopefully we can step it up a little bit and try hard tonight.
What do you feel you have to do in order to defend that title of the national champion?
That's a very good question. I mean, Vasya killed it yesterday. John's really strong. All these guys are fully capable of taking the victory. So all I can do is basically try to climb my highest, not get super pumped, and just try hard, and whatever the outcome is the outcome. It's kind of a gamble with these kind of events.
What's going through your head? Are you thinking about one particular climber like Vasya, or are you just kind of focusing on your own climbing? What's going through your head up there?
I used to kind of focus more on like the end result, and now I'm trying to just focus on that situation that's presented to me. So I try to break the route down into multiple sections and find my rest positions on the route, the holes that I'm going to clip on, and then just try to execute each section efficiently and try to have not too many errors and just try to stay present the whole way up and not let the crowd and all that other stuff get to you. And when you pump out, and that's when you fall, but control your breathing, just minor tips. And it sounds easier than it is, but it's it's really hard to keep your nerves together and to be able to execute these little steps perfectly to be able to hopefully send the route. If I were to win, I'd be super stoked. If I made podium, even more stoked as well. I am here at a competition and showed up to basically bring my A game, so that's all I can do, and whatever comes of it, comes of it.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing you tonight.
Cool, thanks. It'll be fun.
Coming out of that interview with Jen, you yourself sat down with Daniel last week in an hour-long podcast / talk show, and you guys talked a lot about his approach to competing and how it's changed over the years. Did you glean anything from that you didn't know before? Yeah,
I got a real sense talking with Daniel for that hour that he really takes this seriously. Not that he didn't before, but I think as he's getting older, he realizes how important each event is, how rare of an opportunity it is for him to capture those national titles and really build his legacy as he's moving on in his career in climbing, just building up 8-time national champion in bouldering, reigning national champion in sport climbing. He's going for the two-peat in sport climbing. I think he's got a good chance.
Yeah, in this age, it's really interesting to start considering one's legacy now that we've been having these events for 10, 15 years. I think that'll be really interesting to look back on.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're going to get started here in just a second. Before we do that, one note, we'll be looking for your participation at home tonight. If you want to send us questions in the YouTube chat room or tweet at us with the hashtag SCS Nationals, we'll be looking for that all night, so definitely get those in if you're having a viewing party. Send us some pictures. Makes us excited here to know that all you guys are watching out there. And with that, let's go down to the floor and meet our athletes.
What is up, Southern California? Make some noise, please. Let me welcome you to the SCS 2014 Sport Climbing National Championships. This is our final round. We've been working all weekend towards this moment right here. First, I'd like to start introducing our athletes one by one. We'll do a little route preview, some other ceremonial stuff after that. First up, all the way from Orlando, Florida, via Boulder, Colorado, Meagan Martin. Come on out, Meagan. Next up, from Chicago, Illinois, Makayla Kirsch. Also from the Midwest, Kyra Conte. From Cincinnati, Ohio, Angela Payne. From my hometown, Boulder, Colorado, Maddie Hong. Also from Boulder, Colorado, Margaux Haze. From the Dirty South, Brad Weaver. From Texas, Grace McKeon. From the Midwest also, Noah Ridge. From the Bay Area, Jacqueline Wu. From Philadelphia, PA, Rob D'Anastasio. Also from Atlanta, Georgia, Chelsea Rude. From Santa Cruz, California, I think, Carlo Traversi. Out of Texas, Claire Burfind. From Longmonster, Colorado, Daniel Woods. Out of Alexandria, Virginia, Sasha DiGiulian. From New Mexico, John Cardwell. Also from Texas, Delaney Miller. And from Delaware, Vasya Vorotnikov. Folks, make some noise for these finalists. They worked hard to be here. Welcome to Santa Ana. The first thing I'm going to need you guys to do, those of you that are sitting, I apologize. I will ask you to stand for our national anthem. If you got a hat on, please take it off. Thank you. All right, the next thing I'd like to do is offer these athletes a preview period. We got 4 minutes to preview your route. Time starts now.
All right, welcome back. After we, while we let these competitors do that route preview, we're going to welcome Brett Johnson into the booth. Brett, one of the route setters this weekend. Thanks for being up here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's take a look at both these routes. Let's start with the women's route. They're going to be climbing up the left side of this main wall here at Sender 1. Talk a little bit about what we're going to be seeing here.
Well, what we got here is a special route here set just for the girls with a great selection of handholds from E-Grips. There's a wide variety of grips up there. From the beginning, we're looking at kind of a route that's going to try to build the pump about halfway point and then hopefully kick in a little bit of power and a little bit more tricky sequences at the top. If you get a view a little bit higher up here, you're going to see some pockets and, yep. Okay, so right here we got...
about halfway up.
We got about halfway up here. We got some great sets from the Mallorcan sets. It's going to be some tight compression. Then as soon as we get into the Sender 1 logo here, there's some really cool sets called the Ian's Tribal set. They're good in cuts. And then we move on to the main dish here, where it should be a pretty spectacular move to that thing. And as we look up here, there's some endurance-y moves into that pocket set there, and there's some tricky stuff going on there. You're going to see some hands bouncing back and forth. And as we get to the top, hopefully we got some thrilling power moves for a spectacular finish.
What's the angle of the wall like there?
It's pretty steep. It's hard to tell from the ground, but it's pretty steep up there.
Moving on to the guys' field, we've got the orange route going straight up the middle of the wall on a lot of very round technical holds. Some of those seem to be some new sets. Brett, let's talk about a little bit about this route.
Yeah, in the beginning here, hopefully they're moving a little bit slower through some trickier sloper sequences. As soon as we get into that more swooping feature, again, from the ground, it doesn't look that steep, but that roof is really steep there. We got some really cool new sets these climbers have actually never seen before. Those cones that are at the top of the steep there are pretty slopey, very rounded, and very hard to get the right type of grip on it. As soon as we turn the lip here, we get into a more technical style of climbing. So the beginning gets some pump, hopefully, and right now through the head wall, we're testing their technical ability as climbers. Some really tensiony barn door moves, some tricky sequences, and hopefully, again, a pretty spectacular finish to the finish. Right now we're looking at some pretty slopey grips up there, maybe even some really hard clips. And as soon as we get to this last move here, hopefully a big old drive-by move with some feet-cutting sports action.
We were privileged enough to see somebody climb on this a little bit, and it seemed like there was some pretty involved footwork. A lot of weird upside-down heel hooks and such that might be kind of hard to figure out on their first go.
Yeah, when we're setting these walls and we don't have volumes to play with and stuff, we try to get really involved with the way that you use these holds, and hopefully we've accomplished that.
Very good.
Let's take a quick second to talk about the scoring tonight. All these competitors are entering with a clean slate from qualifiers. Their qualifying scores will only come into effect if there's any ties in finals here tonight. Each hold is worth 1 point on the route, and the climbers are given points, a half point for grabbing the usable surface on the next hold in the sequence, and they get 0.3 points for positive movement. So those are going to be kind of like the little differentiators as the climbers go up the wall, and there's also a small bonus for each clip that they make. So it'll be interesting to see how these sequences play out. Each move is so important. Not just each hold, but each movement that these climbers make is going to give them points and help determine our national champion a little bit later tonight.
Brett, after watching yesterday's qualifier round, is there anything that the route setting team gleaned from watching the climbers?
Oh yeah, we learn a lot every time we watch a round. This time around, we learned that maybe some of the climbers aren't so keen on the more technical aspects. We only saw one top on the really technical one, and even on the really powerful one, the technicality at the top proved to be very difficult. So we took that into consideration, and hopefully these routes work out today.
Were there major tweaks that happened, or were the adjustments pretty minor?
Because of the results the way they were, there weren't so many ties, especially in the top of the categories. So we actually didn't make too many tweaks. There were a couple of turns, a couple of swaps, but nothing significant.
Are you nervous?
I'm always a little bit nervous, but you know what? You got to roll with the punches.
Absolutely. Spoken like a true setter.
Well, Brett, thanks for your insight. It's really great to have that insight from the route setters, get an idea of what we're about to see here. And it looks like we're about to get started with our first competitor. 2014 SCS Nationals Finals, Sender 1. Crown ourselves some national champions. See Meagan Martin in the chair. Will be our first female competitor out on the wall, our only competitor on the wall here. We have all eyes on her.
Thanks a lot to Brett. Thanks a lot for your insights. It's been a pleasure all weekend.
All right, you guys have a nice night up here.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks to Brett Johnson for stopping by. We are ready to get started. Once Meagan gets on that second shoe there, looks like she wasn't quite ready. Max, Meagan was our 11th place qualifier. As we talked about, there's 3 continental champions in our field. Those continental champions are crowned, were crowned back in 2012, Sasha DiGiulian on the adult side, and then Delaney Miller and Claire Birdfine on the youth side. They were continental champions, and that basically qualifies them to compete in World Cup level events automatically, so they do not count against the 8 climber quota that we brought to finals here tonight, because part of the process tonight is we are selecting the U.S. national team for lead climbing. So every place matters, actually, not just top spot.
Placement on the U.S. national team allows a climber to compete for the United States in the World Cups in Europe, Asia, and all across the country and all across the world.
See Meagan getting ready there. This crowd is getting excited. Doesn't seem like there's a spare inch in this entire building at this point. Everybody focused on this ice cream cone wall. Getting a great look at right here. Max, what is Meagan thinking right now based on your experience competing? She's the first competitor out on the wall. Everybody watching, nobody knows what to expect at this point. What is she feeling right now?
Well, my SCS National Championship experience is limited to when the event was held in Miami sometime perhaps 8 or 9 years ago, and there were 10 male competitors. So I'm sure that the moment that Meagan is feeling right now is nothing compared to my experience, but Meagan is no stranger to competition climbing. She's primarily a boulderer coming out of Florida, but she made finals here last year, I believe.
Yep, Meagan took 8th last year at Movement, SCS Nationals 2013. She's 24 years old from Lake Mary, Florida.
Shout out to Florida.
We're about to get started. Our first competitor getting on the wall. And away we go. Always interesting to see the first climber on the wall. It's the first time either of us have seen anybody on this route. Get our first impressions. How this is going to start shaking out here.
Getting through a sequence of 4 of the classic egribs, loaves. I think those are the new bubble wrap slopers, which are very cool.
Megan's a coach at Team ABC in Boulder. Likes to spend time outside and be active. And also loves quoting TV shows and movies.
I'm pretty interested to see how this sequence works out, Brian. It looks a little counterintuitive.
Meagan looking really smooth so far. Doesn't look tight or nervous at this point. She looks like she's out there climbing really fluidly. See how she handles this first tough sequence. No problem for Meagan Martin. About halfway up this wall. Really getting into the meat of the route. She is cruising. This is where it's going to start to really kick back. Steeper angle. Meagan Martin giving it her all.
Wow. That is a crazy clipping position.
That's a burly clip.
Oh boy. Uh-oh.
Danger.
Getting points.
Great effort by Meagan Martin. Setting the bar for the women's field here on their finals route.
We're going to see if we can pull Meagan into the booth.
See how
We're
she's
lucky
feeling.
enough.
Let's take a look.
After Meagan, we've got Makayla Kirsch up on deck.
But first, let's take a look at Megan's efforts here on her finals route. Our instant replay. Max, what do you make of what this kind of predicament she got herself in here?
Well, it looked like she was almost trying to mantle off of that undercling just to get her weight onto that big main dish. And then as soon as she realized that she was too pumped to clip, she kind of just decided to jump and get the points that she thought she could get there.
Get those positive movement points. Which could be valuable. We'll see. Right on to our next competitor, Makayla Kirsch, 19 years old from Chicago, Illinois. Longtime competitor. Tons of success on the youth circuit.
Under her other interests, she wrote, "What? That exists?"
Sometimes climbing is all you need.
Makayla is also a multiple youth national champion. Has also climbed several 514s at the Red River Gorge.
She took third at this event 2 years ago, so she's had success in finals before. So even though she's only 19, she's got some experience to draw on here. She works her way up the bottom of this route.
It's probably the median age in this finals round.
It's definitely true. Moving quickly up this wall.
Whoa.
A little foot action there. Shaking her head. She's experienced enough to not let that rattle her, though. Trying to get the crowd behind her.
Taking a couple light shakes. Onto that main dish hold. Seems to be taking her time, chalking up a little bit.
Max, what is that hold like that she's on right there?
It is very big and very flat. Not really any sweet spot to it, but it seems to be her last opportunity to rest before this bulge.
And she definitely knows that from previewing the route. She knows that this is the business part of the route.
Here she is making the clip that Meagan had a hard time with.
Resting on every move. It's definitely going to be a tricky sequence here. See if she can figure it out. No problem. Makayla Kirsch.
I tried.
Setting a new high point for the women on the finals route. Nearing the top of this wall here at center one. See if she can figure out this clipping stance. Skipping clips is not allowed. See if she can figure out how to get back over to this clip. It's gonna be a no man's land. Great effort by Makayla Kirsch. Tons of support here from Makayla. Great effort by her. Always with a smile. All right, let's take a quick break and thank one of our great sponsors that's bringing this event. The North Face, founding partner with USA Climbing. Never stop exploring. North Face athletes Daniel Woods is here tonight. And a recent Young Gun recipient, Margaux Haze, we'll be seeing in just a little bit. It's here from the North Face.
Everybody needs beauty, as well as bread. Places to play in and pray in, where nature may heal and give strength to body and soul. The mountains are calling, and I must go.
My name is Matt Siegel. I'm a professional climber, and I've been climbing for, like 17 years now. The question of why I climb is such a hard question. It makes so much sense to me when I'm climbing that it's kind of like I couldn't imagine life without climbing.
I love rock climbing. I don't want to quit.
Welcome back to the 2014 Sport Climbing Series National Championships, live from Center 1 here in California. Thanks to Scratch Labs for their support of this event. Eat, drink, play with all natural nutrition from Scratch, the official sports drink of USA Climbing. Back here in the booth, we have a special guest, Meagan Martin, stopping by after her
Hey,
climb.
everybody.
Meagan, you and I have come a long way since climbing together back in Florida over a dozen years ago. How was it out there competing at SCS National Championships 2014?
It was really fun. I think the route was set well. I had a really good time. Got really pumped being a boulderer, so I don't know, it was great.
Did you train specifically for this event? Did you put a lot of time in doing longer routes or circuits?
I trained for about like 4 or 5 weeks of sport climbing, with some bouldering in there too, obviously. But I made a conscious effort to get on a rope, so I don't know, it was super fun.
Guys, we're looking at Kyra Conte here out of Shoreview, Minnesota, 17 years old. Took 6th in this event last year. She's getting into the meat of the route. Meagan, what's kind of going through Kyra's mind right now as she's getting onto this flat hold right here?
When I got there, I was pretty pumped, so she looks pretty good though, so maybe she's not feeling it as much as I was. She's probably trying to like stay calm and figure out how she's going to do the rest of the route.
You didn't take any time to rest there.
Yeah, that might have been dumb. Oops.
You see Kyra's really rapid style of climbing. I was talking to her in ISO. She says she doesn't feel like she climbs that fast, but I think generally people feel like she moves a little quicker than some of the other women that we're going to see coming up later.
Having tried the route, Meagan, do you have any predictions for how the rest of the round's going to go?
I have a feeling that a couple people might do it.
Yeah.
Honestly. So this could be really interesting.
Fair enough.
Kyra's starting to struggle. Trying to get that clip.
Oh, that was good.
Nice effort by Kyra Conte.
Nice.
Brilliant effort.
She has been called off in previous nationals for skipping clips, so she's acutely aware of the importance of getting that clip. Great job by Kyra Conte. We'll be getting some live scoring updates as we get them. But Meagan, thanks for stopping by.
Thank
Great
you.
job this weekend.
Thanks.
And best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Meagan.
Cheers.
Oh, I should have rest.
All right, we're going to get another look at Kyra's effort here in just a second. Max, what do you make of the fact that both Kyra and Makayla seem to kind of climb past that clip before realizing that they needed to clip it?
Well, we were talking to Brett earlier, and he was saying that the easiest way to clip that hold is from the highest of the 4 pockets. But the competitors don't seem to understand that when they get there, so they seem to have climbed past it. And seems like they're hoping that one of those 2 giant bubble wrap slopers will be their saviors. But so far, it seems like it's been hosing them a little bit.
So we're going to get our first male competitor out here. Maddy Hong out of Boulder, Colorado, 22 years old. Maddie's quietly one of the most accomplished sport climbers in the country. Climbed 514D, V14. Currently a student and a route setter at Movement in Boulder. Interested in romance, says here. Did not know that.
Aren't we all?
Maddie has done this comp numerous times in the past, finishing 5th in 2012, 3rd in 2011. He's definitely got the experience and the ability. And for the women, we have Angie Payne, I think our oldest female competitor at 29. Always seems to be in finals at these events, no matter what the format is, what the style of climbing is. Angie just excels.
Oh, always a smile on her face.
Yep. Says here that she's climbed some boulders. It's her personal highlight, real ones. She's interested in Instagram.
She is one of the better Instagrammers in the finals round.
See Maddie here getting our first look in this men's route, which looks pretty serious. You can see those big pinches.
Husky pinches.
They're not very good. Be interesting to see the different grips that the climbers use. To see Maddie's right hand kind of hooked around there. A lot of different ways to grab those holds, Max.
Those things are slightly in-cut, but very wide, and the wall is very steep right there.
Definitely a style that Maddie excels at, though.
these holds that Maddie's coming up on are holds that have never been climbed on by any of these climbers. Brand new set, so see if these guys can maneuver through them.
You see the combination of power and technique right here with Maddie getting this heel around that hold. Really smart climbing so far by Maddie. I'm sure his family's watching back home in Boulder right now.
This is some of that involved footwork that we were talking about with Brett earlier.
Even though Maddie qualified in 8th position, he's certainly capable of winning. Definitely going to set a high bar here for the other male competitors. See Angie working through those pockets. A little different sequence than the other women.
Maddie trying to gain his composure.
Great shots from the LG11 crew here all weekend. Checking out both climbers.
Angie regretting not having clipped.
All eyes on Maddie Hong right now. Getting into the upper section of this wall here at Center 1 where it really starts to flatten out. Right where Maddie is right now.
I think he just touched the usable surface of that Tron disc.
All right, we'll take a quick break and hear from another one of our great sponsors, Cliff Bar. It's simple. Put good food in, get good performance out. Cliff is committed to creating delicious, healthy food made in a way that respects and protects the places where people live, work, and play. Thanks to Cliff Bar for their support. Let's hear more from them. Welcome back to the 2014 Sport Climbing Series National Championships live from Center 1 in Santa Ana, California. Presented in part by eGrips, one of the official climbing hold suppliers of USA Climbing.
I was definitely digging that eGrips commercial. It's kind of like, here's all we have to offer. If you like it, buy it.
If you like climbing on cool grips.
We have none other than Brad Weaver stepping onto the wall. I think I saw a hashtag Weaver Fever earlier.
I might be coming down with
Facebook. I think we've all been afflicted.
I think you just need a little more cowbell. Brad's 25 from Bloomington, Illinois. Currently lives down in Atlanta, setting at Stone Summit.
Quietly one of America's best all-around climbers.
Yeah, Brad's climbed B14, just did 14D at the Red and Southern Smoke Direct. I was talking to him in ISO before the finals here. He's feeling pretty psyched about that. And on the left side of the wall, you have Margaux Haze, one of our up-and-coming competitors. Her first SCS Nationals as an adult, just at the age of 16.
Repping Team ABC.
Out of Boulder, Colorado.
Great program run by Robin Ebersfield. Brad wasting no time.
Just flying out of the frame. Margaux's definitely one of the up-and-comers that she could just win this event any year, basically.
Yeah, she's kind of the... as some of the other competitors start to age out, she's kind of the new kid on the block, and will maybe have a reign moving forward.
Yeah, Margaux made finals at ABS Nationals in her first adult ABS Nationals in February. Brad just missed out on finals at ABS Nationals, finishing 7th. he was right there with the rest of the guys.
It's really tough to perform well at both of our national championships. I don't know if the viewers understand how difficult that is, but
that was just 5 weeks ago, ABS Nationals. Totally different competition format, style of climbing. It's really impressive to see these competitors excelling at both such a short period of time. Worth reminding our viewers that this is on-site format today. Yesterday, the competitors were able to watch the other climbers before they climbed. Today, they have no prior knowledge of how these routes go, where anybody else got. They've been sequestered in the back of this gym waiting for their turn, for their one shot at glory here. Brad just moving quickly to a new high point.
Surpassing the previous high point.
Margaux just fell out of frame as we watch Brad work his way into the top of the ice cream cone here. The slabby section.
Here we go.
Crowd is getting psyched.
Brad was my dark horse going into this. I called for him to podium, so we'll see if that happens.
Pretty good. Brad Weaver, one move from the finish.
Brad Weaver, ladies and gentlemen.
Last move.
Boom!
Brad Weaver.
Oh my Lord.
Giving us the fever.
Out of nowhere.
Unbelievable on-site for Brad Weaver.
Wow.
I'm going to need to see that again, but Max, he just casual.
I'm going to be honest. I thought Brad would do well. I did not expect that.
That was an incredible effort by Brad Weaver. Definitely going to need to see that again. Really committing last move that we're going to see here, Max. Talk a little bit about that once we get this queued up. When you're at the top of the wall, you're at SCS Nationals, and you have one move, really dynamic move.
Yeah, basically all of the holds that he's on are not in cut, and he's in a really awkward position, and he really committed and went for it, and he was rewarded.
Yep. Great performance by Brad Weaver. Rocket him into first position. Quick onside of that route.
Glad to see Brad stepping into the limelight. He really deserves it.
And we were just talking about how this is onsite and the other competitors aren't able to watch, but I think if they've been paying attention, they probably know that Brad just did something pretty awesome out here, and they know that they are going to have to bring a really solid effort if they want to win this event.
I think Weaver Fever is going strong, Brian.
It's probably trending right now on Twitter. Wow. Catch our breath here and get our next competitors on the wall. Got Noah Ridge from Minneapolis, Minnesota, out for the men. He's 20 years old. Been climbing for 10 years. Going to the University of Minnesota right now. He took third at this comp last year. For the women, we have Grace Mckee, another one of our youth contingent. Another one of those young climbers that was in finals at ABS Nationals a couple months ago. Just 15 years old in her first adult SCS Nationals. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. She was definitely one of the great takeaways from being at ABS and being part of that new school of young climbers. Noah, no stranger to SCS Nationals. I believe he placed third last year.
Yeah, this is his third year at the event. He took fourth 2 years ago, third last year. He's looking to improve on that. He knows he's got his work cut out for him. He was in the chair waiting, so he knows that Brad did something pretty spectacular in his effort, his turn on the wall.
Yeah, the male competitors are in an interesting position now, and as a route setter, if I was in Brett's shoes, it's definitely scary having the second climber out send your route, but it often turns out that, someone overperforms or perhaps they underperformed the day before, so we'll just have to wait it out.
Yeah, like we were saying, Brad is feeling pretty fit right now, one of the best climbers in the country. So it's not necessarily surprising to see him put that kind of effort down there. Getting our cable cam shots here of both competitors. Great work from the Airworks Cinema crew all weekend.
Here's Noah getting into this slabby head wall.
What's up? Grace is another one of the climbers who is only interested in climbing, according to her questionnaire that we had all the competitors fill out. She's definitely one of the most impressive storylines that I took away from ABS Nationals, though. Hadn't seen her climb before. I was really impressed with her style.
I'm still impressed by her hair.
That too. She's a really good climber. See if she can figure out these clips that have stymieing the women thus far. I think she's going to figure it out. See Noah there, making quick progress. And Max, what's this like up here when the wall kind of slabs out and gets a little more vertical? Kind of changes the dynamic for the climbers as they get more pumped.
Well, absolutely. Any false move and you're off. Like Brett was saying earlier, the footwork's pretty involved. If you lose your balance, just boom.
Just like you were saying, not many do-overs when you're up that on a train like that, as we see Grace Mckee getting this crowd behind her. Trying to figure out this tricky sequence high in women's finals. Oh. Great performance by Grace. Wave to the crowd. She's got to be happy with her performance at her first SCS Nationals. I think we're going to see her for several years to come. Take this moment to thank all our belayers this weekend and volunteers. Without them, this event wouldn't be possible. Really great to have all the volunteers, belayers out here all weekend. All right, take another quick break and thank one of our great sponsors, So Will Holds.
Of activities that our experts participate in is nothing short of phenomenal.
That's Craig Levra, CEO, talking about Sports Chalet's incredible team of in-store experts.
The fact that we have experts that participate in so many sports means that they're able to deliver their personal experience and their personal coaching and advice on what to wear, how to use the gear, where to use it, every single aspect of the experience to make sure it's great.
Sports Chalet, we'll take you to the limit.
EP poured the first handhold in 1985. Here we are 30 years later. Chances are if you climbed inside, you've climbed on an EP hold.
Welcome back to the 2014 Sport Climbing Series National Championships, live at Sender 1, presented in part by Entrepreneur, the official climbing wall supplier of USA Climbing. We've got Sasha DiGiulian, who's an Entrepreneur athlete, climbing a little bit later. And right now we're joined in the booth by Maddie Hong. Maddie, thanks for being up here.
Yeah, thank you.
Maddie, what was your mindset coming out first on the wall?
I think you got to go out with an attitude that you would go out in any position. It's a different situation and means that the audience doesn't really know what to expect, so you kind of set the standard of what the rest of the playout's going to be, and it can be either nerve-wracking or it can build confidence just by not having the pressure, so.
What do you prefer? When I used to compete, I always used to enjoy being at first out of ISO and having that lack of pressure.
Yeah, I kind of think it helped me in a way to just not have to worry about the audience, because when you are climbing, that's the one thing that you can really, that stands out, is the audience's noise. And when they don't really know what to expect, it kind of makes you feel more comfortable. Like you don't want to do a hard move for you and then not hear the audience cheer, because then maybe you're not at the high point so far. So
what do you think of the route overall? We just saw Brad Weaver top it.
Yeah, that was sick. I think the route's amazing. It climbs really well. It's technical, it's powerful, confusing, which is always good in a comp. And it was hard for me, man. I mean, those pinches are a lot worse than they look. You see Rob climb on them right now and he makes them look easy, but they're slopier than you would expect, and these clip positions are hard. They get you pumped.
Yeah, we're looking at Rob D'Anastasio there on the right for the men, 30 years old, out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Longtime competitor. Just always brings max effort at these comps. And
Oh,
for
yeah.
the women, we got Jackie Wu, 17 years old out of San Francisco. Max, I know you are familiar with her climbing.
Yeah, Jackie is out of the Bay Area where I'm based out of. She's definitely a dark horse in this realm. At other events, junior national championship that I set for last year, she failed to make semifinals, so she definitely brought her A game this weekend. Take us through what Rob's thinking right now, Maddie. Is he thinking anything?
Yeah, Rob D is one of the best competitors I've ever climbed with. I mean, he tries so hard. You can tell just by watching him. You know, he messed up a sequence a little earlier, but he's already 2 body lengths past where I thought he was going to get, and he fights, man. He goes for it, and it's always fun to watch.
I'm waiting for the patented Rob D yell right now when he's trying hard.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
Rob D.
That was good. I mean, he got a little confused with the lower sequence, but pulled through it.
Absolutely. Jackie getting high up.
Looking smooth.
Oh.
You can tell she's getting tired. See if she can figure out this clip.
Losing it.
Nice sterling moment there for Jackie. Maddie, thanks for stopping by the booth.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right. Thanks to Maddy Hong for stopping by. As we're moving through this final round quickly. Down to our final 4 climbers for the men and the women. We're going to bring another guest here. Man of the hour right now. Brad Weaver getting set up here. As we move on to our next climbers, got a guy named Daniel Woods coming out for the women, or for the men, sorry. My bad. Daniel Woods coming out for the men. Reigning national champion. For the women, we're going to see Chelsea Rude and Brad Weaver in the booth. Get up to that microphone, Brad.
Hello.
Brad, how are you feeling right now?
Pretty psyched, man. I'm like amped, yeah, for sure.
We've been singing your praises in the broadcast booth. I saw a hashtag earlier of Weaver Fever coming from your buddy Preston down in Georgia.
A lot of love down south for me, for sure.
Guys, one quick correction. I said Daniel Woods is coming out, but that's obviously Carlo Traversi, 2-time national champion. So we'll get to Daniel in just a little bit here. But Carlo, Chelsea Rude going to be on the wall next. Brad, when you previewed the route, did you feel like you would be able to get to the top of the wall, or what was your mindset when you were looking at the route from the ground?
I mean, with any comp route, it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, what the holds are going to be like on the wall angle, you know what I mean? So, and a lot of the holds we actually don't have at the gym I climb at, so it's kind of like blind going in, you know what I mean? We have like a lot of those big pinches I'm familiar with, so I kind of knew what to expect with those, but a lot of the other holds, it's kind of like you're hoping they're more positive than look on the wall. It's intimidating, you know? Yeah, it's kind of all I can say. It's intimidating looking at the holds and knowing you have one try to do it, it's hard.
Do you think training and climbing every day at a gym like Stone Summit, where the walls are considerably taller than the walls here, do you think that gains you an advantage over a lot of these climbers that don't have such a high-octane training facility?
To some extent I do, but on the other hand, I mean, a lot of our harder routes have a lot more positive holds all the way up the wall. Our walls are 60 feet tall. If you take in all the angle changes and stuff, it could be like 85 feet of actual climbing surface. So a lot of time, like these comp routes are more power endurance based than pure endurance. So coming into these things, it's a little bit harder actually, because I spend maybe too much time in the route area as opposed to like the bouldering room. I think power endurance plays like a big part of it.
And what's going through your mind on that last move? Really committing?
Oh, man.
Are you even thinking at that point, or just kind of executing?
Yeah, I kind of just wasn't. I didn't even know what was really happening, and then I was like, "Oh, the final jug's right there. You better go to it, get your foot up, jump." And I was lucky enough that it was a pretty positive hold, and yeah, luck played a big part of it for sure.
At ABS Nationals, Brad, you were one place out of making finals. How does this experience compare to that one?
I mean, for me, it's awesome just to make finals. My goal is to just make finals for the first time. I've always kind of been like one place out from that like accomplishment. So for me, just making finals, I was super psyched to be able to do that. And then, I mean, to come out and be able to do the final route, it's like amazing. Like I never thought that would happen. So yeah, I'm super happy with it.
Very cool. Can we get a prediction from you for how the rest of the round's going to go?
I think we'll have 2 more people do it, at least. I think a couple more people will do the route.
Carlo.
Looking good.
Seems to be struggling so far.
Good effort.
See Chelsea here on the women's final.
Carlo was moving pretty fast there. Maybe too fast, perhaps.
He kind of struggled through that middle section on the roof. Not Carlo's day. You see Chelsea, who finished 3rd in this event last year. She's definitely one of the favorites on the women's side.
Speaking to a fellow route setter, it's always, you get kind of nervous when you see one of the earlier climbers top the route, but in this case, it'd be really cool to see, just one top. Do you think that could happen as well?
One top? I honestly think somebody else will do it. I don't know.
Nobody's listening, so you can just tell us how you really feel. Are you really hoping
honestly,
nobody else sends it?
I mean, I hope nobody else does it, But, I think somebody else will do it, for sure.
Okay.
See if watching Chelsea Root here. See if she can be the first women's competitor to top out this women's final. It's looking really smooth right now. Yet to see any of the women figure out this sequence until Chelsea Rood.
I believe that's a high point. 2 moves from the top now for Chelsea Rood.
Looks like she's just going to go for it. Made the decision that she wasn't going to get that clip. Trying to get the points for moving up to that next hold. All right, Brad, thanks for stopping by the booth. Best of luck to you the rest of the night.
Thanks.
Great performance today from Brad Weaver.
Here from another one of our great sponsors in Technic.
For EP, climbing walls and handholds is our business, but that's really not why we're here. We're here to enrich people's lives and introduce climbing to the world. We know that once somebody gets an opportunity to go indoors and climb on a climbing wall, that they're going to be hooked and they're going to be a climber for life.
Welcome back to the 2014 Sport Climbing Series National Championships here at Sender 1 in Santa Ana, California. Thanks to Technic and Entrepreneur for their support of USA Climbing and this live broadcast. Without their support, this would not be possible. We're moving right on to our next competitors. Here's Daniel Woods getting into his power zone.
I think this guy's pretty good.
I've heard that. Daniel looks really focused.
We asked the competitors what their personal climbing highlights were in their outdoor climbing career, and interestingly enough, Daniel wrote Tinipi, which is his 15A first ascent in Borneo. Many people know him for his bouldering ascents, but it seems like Daniel was pretty excited about his first ascent in the Alpine Borneo.
Yeah, and here's a quick look at the women's scores. We have Chelsea Rood in first place, followed by Kyra Conte and Grace Mckee. These scores are all unofficial, but it looks like Chelsea Rood set the high bar for the women at this point. Yeah, Max, like you were saying, Daniel, really proud of that accomplishment, as well as his first ascent of Hypnotized Mind, which is still unrepeated in Rocky Mountain National Park. Probably the hardest boulder problem in the country at this point, despite numerous attempts to see it repeated. And who do we have here for the women?
We've got Claire Burfind, who's still only 15 years old. We've seen her top her category at Youth Nationals the last few years. She's taller than a lot of the other competitors. We'll see if that comes into play. I believe she's 5'10".
It's definitely a differentiator between her and some of the other women competitors. It'll be interesting to see how her style fits this route.
Definitely came out of nowhere yesterday to have the high point on the women's EP Route B.
Youth national champion in 2013 for sport, speed, and bouldering. And this is her first year competing in adult nationals.
It's quite the trifecta. Daniel moving confidently through those Technic Husky pinches.
Max, do you think Daniel is feeling extra pressure now that he probably knows that Brad sent the route? Or is he just kind of in his zone knowing that he can do this route regardless of what any of the other climbers did?
You know, I'm not sure if he knows that Brad sent the route. I don't think he was on deck when that happened. So usually when you're on deck and someone sends, you definitely have a tell. But if you're back in ISO, it's definitely harder.
Do you think it'd be an advantage or a disadvantage if he knew that Brad sent the route?
I would say disadvantage. I think that kind of adds the pressure.
So far, he's moving pretty smoothly. We see Claire climbing very quickly up the women's route. It's pretty casual so far for Claire. Just 15 years old, out of Plano, Texas.
This women's route seems to go more straight up than the longer route that they had to climb yesterday. Perhaps less pumpy?
I think that could be. It's definitely a powerful sequence that she's about to embark on here. See both climbers high on this wall here at Center 1. Daniel looks very solid. Both climbers getting high up on the wall here. Oh, wow.
Oh!
Daniel Woods.
He's out of there.
Hits the eject button. We got Claire Burfine motoring on women's final. Just barely latches that left-hand hold.
Oh!
Claire Burfine.
One move from the top, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Claire Burfine.
Claire Burfine.
Topping out women's final.
Look at that smile on her face.
Crowd goes wild.
You guys are looking at the future of American sport climbing right there.
Woo.
Beautiful climbing from Claire. If you guys didn't have enough tops yesterday, we're certainly seeing them today.
Claire Burfine setting a high bar for our last two female competitors. Puts her in first place ahead of Chelsea Rude. A little bit surprising there, Daniel Woods spit off 2 clips from the top of the men's final. Brad Weaver's performance looking better and better with each successive climber. Take a look at Claire here on the top of women's final. Making it look easy.
Yeah, she really didn't grab that left Majorcan sloper very well, perhaps with only 3 fingers, but she definitely rectified that.
We will have a new national champion on the men's side. Still remains to be seen on the women's side with defending champion Delaney Miller still to come as our first female qualifier. So we see our second female qualifier here, Sasha DiGiulian, multi-time national champion, looking to rebound from a 9th place finish last year at this event. She seems to be in a little better form this year. I know she's excited to regain her crown as national champion. Sasha's 21 years old from Alexandria, Virginia. Somehow she has time to go to Columbia and major in multiple disciplines and be a professional climber.
I think she's smart.
I think so. She's 3-time national champion, overall world champion. She's got one of the most decorated resumes in American climbing at this point. See John Cardwell on the wall for the men. John's 25. He's climbing out of Boulder, Colorado these days. Climber and route setter and a coach up there at Movement.
Originally from New Mexico.
John won SCS Nationals in 2007. Took 4th in this event last year.
John's actually had a lot of success on the international stage competing lately. I don't think he's won a major U.S. event in a while, but always a threat.
I think he did win the bouldering comp at the trade show this year.
That's right.
Other than that, it's been a little while since John's been on top of the podium in the U.S. John eats pinches like this for breakfast, though. That's numerous nicknames about his compression skills. You know, both these competitors are capable of topping out these routes. Going to be joined by Claire Burfine in just a second here. First place for the women at this point. You see Sasha and John both moving quickly up their finals routes.
Both of our competitors getting pretty high up on the route.
All right, we're joined right now by Claire Burfine. Claire, get up nice and close to that microphone. How does it feel?
I'm so happy, and I'm just so thankful for my parents, and I have great coaches, and it's such an incredible opportunity to be here. I'm really happy that I was able to compete with all these climbers that inspire me.
This is your first time at SCS Nationals.
It is.
Quite the performance.
Thank you. You know, I was kind of nervous coming into it. I didn't really know what to expect, but I'm really happy that I was able to compete here.
Claire, what's this section that Sasha's moving through like?
I thought it was a pretty decent rest. Actually, the holds are pretty nice, but after that it gets pretty tough.
It seemed like you grabbed that left Majorcan sloper with only 3 fingers.
I did. Yeah, I was pretty pumped up there.
Do you have any predictions for Sasha's performance right now?
I don't know. She's a really strong climber. I feel like she could top the route.
Sasha DiGiulian trying to take back her national championship crown. 3 moves from the finish.
Seems like a tricky clip right here. She still has to clip, ladies and gentlemen.
See if she can figure out a way to get her balance just right so she can let go to make that clip.
She may have hosed herself.
It's quite the predicament she's in. She's still got to make that last clip before she can
Claire,
clip the finishing draws.
What do you think we're about to see here from Sasha? She still has to do that last clip before her feet go above it.
Yeah, I think she can pull it off.
It almost seems like she's going to have to down climb to clip that draw before clipping the top.
I do not feel like I've ever seen this before.
I have definitely never seen this before. We're going to see if Sasha's going to be able to recover enough to make the clip and then do maybe 2 more moves to re-climb the sequence she's already climbed. It doesn't appear that she has enough reach to clip it from the jug that she's on.
She's got it.
Between the proverbial rock and the hard place right here. It'd be incredible if she can pull this off.
This must be quite the theater down at home. Here she goes.
Unbelievable, Sasha DiGiulian. Just climbed that last
Setting
section
that heel
twice.
hook. And there she goes.
Sasha DiGiulian topping out the finals route. She is psyched. Probably never thought she'd have to do something quite that tricky at the top of the wall like that, Max.
Yeah.
Quite the show.
Well, Claire, congratulations. Best of luck to you. It's great to watch you climb this weekend.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by.
I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more from you in the future.
I hope so.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks to Claire Burfine for stopping by. Oh, I'm still trying to process what we just saw there, Max.
Yeah, that was bananas.
See if the judges gave her full credit there. Sure seems like she did what she needed to do to top out that route. Take a quick look at that again. I've never seen anything like this before, Max.
This is certainly new to me.
Basically had to reclimb the last section to make this clip here.
Do you think the judges should give her extra points for doing the moves twice?
No bonus points for doing the moves twice. Just like that, Max, we're down to our last two competitors. Delaney Miller and Vasya Vorotnikov. Both these routes have been sent at this point. They know what they need to do.
Vasya certainly looked on point yesterday. We'll see if that carries over.
And he definitely seemed confident in that interview with Jen earlier. Vasya's a pretty smart guy. He's very cerebral about his climbing. He really takes this seriously. It's Delaney Miller here from Fort Collins, Colorado, where she's going to school right now. Originally from Texas, 18 years old. Our reigning national champion for the women. Crowd getting excited to see our last two competitors here. See Vasya moving quickly up the wall. Vasya is 26 years old from Newark, Delaware. Getting his PhD right now in chemical engineering. Getting married soon. Taking second at ABS Nationals. Somehow finding time and all that to get ready for this rope nationals. Be our top qualifier. Really impressive performance yesterday, Max. Got the high point on both qualifying routes.
Extreme confidence. He just exudes it.
Definitely capable of topping out this route.
Oh my Lord.
Unbelievable. Hate to see that happen.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Brad Weaver going to be your national champion. Just like that.
We are all thrown for a loop.
All eyes on Delaney Miller right now. If she can top out this route, she's going to be the national champion again in 2014.
There are no super finals at SCS Nationals. Ties do go back to qualifiers.
Delaney's got a really deliberate style of climbing.
Although I would not mind all three of those girls if Delaney tops this to see them try the men's final.
That would be pretty cool to see. Delaney looks really solid so far. Got incredible endurance.
Only a few moves left for Delaney Miller.
She does not look stressed in the least at this point. Just cruising her way up this finals route.
Just another day in the office.
See how she negotiates this last clip. Delaney Miller just making it look easy at this point. 2 moves from national championship glory for Delaney Miller. 1 more move. Delaney Miller is your national champion for 2014. Great performance by Delaney Miller. Back-to-back national championships. Soaking it in. And Brad Weaver for the men came out in 7th position and just stormed up the men's final. Take that national championship. All right, joined by Sasha DiGiulian right now.
Hey everyone, how's it going?
And take another look at Delaney here in just a second. But Sasha, incredible performance out there. What happened?
Thanks. So I forgot to clip, you know? I went to the top and then I looked down and realized that I hadn't clipped, so I had to backtrack and down climb, clip, then go back up to the top.
We'll take another look at Delaney here. She seals the victory.
Yeah.
And Sasha, you've competed a long time. Have you ever had anything like that happen to you before?
I've actually never skipped a clip. In the back of my head, I knew like I still had to clip that final one, but before I could clip the anchors. But I thought that I could get it by hooking up the beaner and getting it with my foot. But I was a little too short to do that, so I realized I had to down climb at that point.
Yeah,
that was pretty wild, and I don't think any of the viewers had seen that before.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't. It's not the best style necessarily, definitely not the most efficient, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes.
How do you feel about your performance this year?
You know, tonight I feel happy. I climbed solid and just gave it my best shot. Yesterday I didn't give it all I got fresh out of the gates because I figured it was just qualifiers, but you know, every day counts and now it's count back. So I just need to be happy with my placement.
All right, well, Sasha, congratulations on your performance this weekend. It was really great to see you back here at SCS Nationals, and best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right,
Time
thanks.
to get outside.
Thanks, Sasha. All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Hear from Evolve, the official climbing shoe of USA Climbing. Thanks to Evolve for their support of USA Climbing.
While live streaming an event is a service that Louder Than 11 provides, we're in the business of storytelling. We want to find what's at the heart of what's going on. We want to give our audience a reason to care about the people that we're telling the story about. For us, it's not just about putting on a great product, but it's also about doing right by climbing. And we want to do our part to take it to the next level.
Welcome back to the 2014 Sport Climbing Series National Championships. After that incredible sport round, we'll get the results from that in just a minute. While we go through final results and get all that tallied up, we're going to go look back at the speed round that was recorded earlier today. And to help us with that is Josh Levin. Josh, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's take a look at our speed qualifiers and finals.
Ladies and gentlemen, Josh Levin is a 10-time youth speed national champion. Is that right, Josh?
That is correct.
All right, Josh, walk us through what we're seeing here. This is qualifying that happened this morning. Any interesting climbers that come up? Any interesting dynamics that you felt like were playing out? Just talk us through what we're seeing.
All right, so for the viewers who haven't been watching or following the speed climbing competition, the way it works is there are 2 speed climbing qualification runs. Your qualifier to time it is determined by your best of the 2 runs, and then you go into the final round where you do 2 more runs, and your final score is determined by your best of the 2 runs.
And what are these routes that we're seeing the people climb on?
So these are standardized routes all over the world. This is determined by the International Federation of Sport Climbing, and it's supposed to be exactly standardized for anywhere you go. This year is the 10-meter version of the speed climbing route. It's usually run on the 15-meter version for international competitions. So this is just the 10-meter.
So,
what does the fact that the wall is standardized mean as a competitor?
The fact that it's standardized means that you can train at a much higher level. the training for this is so much different than you have for any kind of other type of climbing, such as sport climbing or bouldering, just because you know exactly where the holds are going to be every single time. The wall is the exact same angle, so you can really dial in exactly what sequence you want to have, dial in what foot movements you want. So it ends up being just pure muscle memory, and you just have to dial in exactly what you need to do in order to make your run completely flawless and execute at the highest level. The way that a lot of people train for this is just doing over and over and over again until you have it exactly wired, and then a lot of exercising and conditioning drills as well. So one of the teams that really pushing the standard for that right now is Team Texas with Kyle Clinkscales as the head coach.
I've heard of them.
Yeah, his climbers are really crushing it right now.
It seems like for a long time, speed climbing wasn't really on the radar of a lot of U.S. competitive climbers. Do you think that's changed with the advent of these walls? It seems like new gyms that are opening up are building speed climbing walls to train climbers to do it. There's one in Stone Summit down in Atlanta. I'm sure there's a few others across the country. But do you think that's helped the American speed climbing scene?
Absolutely. The fact that these speed climbing walls are being built in the first place is just a major breakthrough for the United States. Because speed climbing kind of popped up in Europe first, and the Europeans are so much more far ahead of us just because they've had the wall for longer. Speed climbing is purely just the fastest race to the top. Like, whenever you talk to someone who isn't into climbing, they always assume, oh, is it the person who gets to the top the fastest? And that's really helping, grow the sport of rock climbing as a competitive sport. So, I mean, when the rock climbing was presented as an Olympic sport to the committee last year, it was presented as an all-around competition between sport climbing, bouldering, and speed climbing. And speed climbing plays such a tremendous role just because you have to be able to, compete in rock climbing. And this is the purest form of competition climbing. You just compete at the top the fastest.
It does seem to be the most standardized form.
Yeah.
What's the mental approach of these climbers when you're coming into a competition like this, Josh?
Mental approach, you definitely want to be able to know your moves, know everything that you want to be doing. Like having a routine that you can do right before you climb is definitely really important. Maybe if you watch some of these climbers before they climb, they do a specific routine, maybe like jumping jacks or push-ups, or looking over the route one more time just to make sure they know everything's dialed. A lot of people, if you watch some of the speed climbers in this qualification round, they'll do it slightly differently. That's kind of the different techniques that people will develop over the time they train on it. That's just based on body type, amount of pull they can generate off these holds. So some people will go off to the right-hand side a little bit more, or dyno straight up. So there's a lot of different variations that people will develop when they're speed training.
We were talking earlier, and you were telling me that based on your height, the sequence that you will take during the speed route is drastically different.
That is definitely correct. If we eventually get to the male qualifications, so right here you're watching John Brossler on the right absolutely destroy his qualification run. The sequence that he takes is going to be drastically different than Michael Retoth, who will be climbing later on in these qualifications. So the way that it works is that John has developed a specific sequence that's good for his body type, whereas if you're taller, you can go and maybe skip a lot more holds or go in between holds in a different way. So if you watch Ahmed Torre on the right, he did a little bit different sequence than John did as well.
What about these times that we're seeing? What's a competitive time for the women and for the men?
Right now in the United States, on the 10-meter wall, competitive time in the women is mid-6s. That's probably going to be a good time. For the guys, we're starting to break through the 5-second barrier, sometimes in the mid-4s. We're starting to see a couple low 4s and possibly in the 3-second range. We'll see.
This is actually Josh climbing on the right side of the wall.
Look at that.
Yeah, that I thought was a pretty good time for me. I ended up getting a 5:12. Not too bad.
Again, I mentioned this yesterday, but Josh has one of the greatest streaks in U.S. professional climbing history, in my opinion. He won speed at Youth Nationals 10 years in a row, which I don't think anyone has won anything 10 years in a row in professional climbing that I've known. But tell us about that streak a little bit, Josh.
Oh, it definitely changed over the years. I was definitely lucky enough to be able to keep that streak going for as long as I did. So when I first started speed climbing in the youth categories, it was actually the second year they ever had speed climbing at Youth Nationals in 2003 in Richmond, Virginia. And at that point in time, it was not the standardized route. It was just a completely random sequence of holds going up the wall, and your score was based on your combined time from 2 different walls. So they also changed the rules where they used to have elimination style rounds, whereas this format allows for 2 runs and you get your best of 2 runs as your qualifying and final time. There was actually elimination rounds, so you had to race against somebody and then be seated in a March Madness style bracket and turn in, like, you have to win 4 rounds in a row in order to win. So over the course of those years, I was able to transition between that and going to the standardized wall, which was definitely different. And I think I was able to transition decently well. But the fact that this wall has been standardized, and in order to do well, you have to just train for it, like, nonstop. It's definitely become much more different mentality for training, just because you need to be able to get on this wall as much as you can and make sure your beta is completely dialed. So the future of speed climbing, I believe, will just be relying on getting the training for this completely dialed to a point where you're training similar to the way swimmers or sprinters will train. That's looking at video, looking at different levels of coaching, and trying to analyze every single little movement that you can possibly do on this wall. Just because this training for this is just going to get so much more intense, and it'll be coming down to the hundredths of a second, if not thousands.
You see it becoming pretty specialized then, people just focusing on speed versus
Absolutely.
the other disciplines?
So, and in fact, there's in this competition, there was a Russian named Stanislav Corcoran who was actually just on vacation here in LA for the last couple weeks. Facebook messaged me about a month ago and said, "Oh, are there any rock climbing competitions I can be doing in the area?" Yeah,
Just
what
so
do you
happens
know?
there is.
Yeah, it just happens that we have the SCS National Championships here. So, for all those of you who do not know, Stanislav Corcoran was the 2013 overall World Cup speed champion, and was an 8-time World Cup champion in speed for the past couple years. I'm sure some of you may have seen, there's a couple GIFs floating around the internet of him racing this Chinese guy for the world record in Arco in 2011. It's kind of gotten viral and going around the internet quite a bit.
Yeah, we'll see him qualifying here in just a little bit, I think.
Yeah, so that was Michael Retoff on the right. But yeah, he's going to be coming up soon. So he is a specialized speed climber. He does not train anything else but speed climbing. And he's paid by the Russian government. This is him on the right now, putting down a ridiculous time. And unfortunately, he missed the top laser right there, so his time did not count for that run.
So that's interesting. In Europe, I think it's pretty common to be a specialized speed climber, especially in countries like China, Russia, Ukraine. You see a lot of climbers that only focus on speed and go to the World Cups just for speed and don't compete in difficulty at all. But in the United States, that's very rare. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's mostly just because of the way that their sport is stipend and reimbursed in Europe. So for the Russian government, for example, and most sports, especially rock climbing, if you win an international competition, such as the World Championships or the World Games, you are entitled to a stipend from the Russian government for several thousand euros per year. And that kind of compounds if you win multiple events. So it's a really, really big reward if you're able to be a really successful speed climber or boulderer or sport climber in your country. And that goes for most European countries as well. They have a really big backing from their government. Whereas here in the United States, we have basically zero funding from the government, and we have to either fund our way from sponsors or fundraising, or do whatever it takes to make it to the World Cups and World Championships.
Well, Josh, thanks for your insight. It's really great to see the sport climbing event or the speed climbing event this weekend and kind of learn a lot from you. So I appreciate you stopping by.
All right, thank you so much, Brian.
All right, thanks Josh. We're going to bring in one more guest here as we watch the women's speed final. We're bringing in John Brosler, Team Texas. See Kyra Conte there, and Claire Burfine for the women. Joining us in the booth right now, John Brosler. John, get right up close to that microphone.
Welcome, John.
Thank you.
So we see Megan Carr here.
I got to be honest, John. I watched your climb against Stanislav earlier, and that was one of the most exciting things I've ever seen in climbing. We'll see it at the end of this replay, but it honestly, it captured a moment that I didn't expect to be captured in speed climbing. It was kind of the first time I'd really sat down and watched speed climbing and paid attention, and it really captured me.
Yeah, you're not going to miss what we're about to watch here after the women's final wraps up. It's a really incredible moment that John had. And just really quickly, the women's speed national champion was Meagan Carr, followed by Danielle Rogan and Jackie Wu. It's our top 3 for the women. And as we're looking at the men's field here, John, how long have you been speed climbing for?
I've been speed climbing for about 3 years. We got the wall in 2010, the same year that we had it. The first year we had the wall at Stone Summit, and I started training then.
And what was your previous best time coming into this weekend?
Coming into this weekend, it was 4:15.
So you were the national record holder for U.S., correct?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
And what was your mindset knowing that you're going to compete against Stanislav this weekend? Do you kind of get you psyched up for this event?
Yeah, I knew he was coming, and it definitely motivated me to train hard because I knew he was a really, really, really strong speed climber, and it was an amazing experience, and I'm glad I had it.
For those of us who were watching, there was definitely a little bit of a little bit of Rocky, a little bit of Cold War. It was very exciting to see John and Stanislav face off for the finals. Both climbers got a very low 4 time on their first run, and typically, would it be true to say that the second time that you guys get on your run is typically slower than your first time? But in this case, it was actually faster in both cases.
Well, usually I try to get in a good, solid. I don't go as fast on my first run, just so I can move on to the next round. In this case, make U.S. team. And then my second run, if I have a good first run, I go all out.
And we're looking at your first run here. What was going through your mind after the first run?
My first run, I was just trying to get a good solid time.
Here's the second run.
Here we go. This is John Brosler making history, ladies and gentlemen.
It's just an unbelievable moment to be here. What was going through your mind when you saw that time?
When I saw that time, I was just psyched more than anything. I didn't even look at his. I didn't know if I'd won or not. I was really happy to get that time.
John, you beat your previous time by 0.2 of a second, which is pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah. I feel like with the adrenaline going through your body at comps, it's definitely a huge advantage, which is why typically I post faster times in comps than I do in practice. So I feel like that was definitely a huge factor.
John, you're about to be mobbed by all the other U.S. speed climbers who are incredibly psyched. How do you feel right now in this clip that we're seeing?
Right now, I'm just psyched more than anything. I'm in shock. I had no idea. I mean, I was just really psyched. I'm glad I had all these people supporting me.
And this was your first time getting a sub 4 second.
Correct.
Is that correct?
It's first time.
On the world's biggest stage.
Yeah.
That's pretty remarkable in my book.
I was happy. I still am.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't a big speed climbing believer, but you really made a believer out of me today. That was just an incredible thing to witness.
Well,
I wanted to come mob you, but I didn't want to,
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to say this, but I actually teared up a little. It was everything came together, and it was a really amazing sports moment.
Thank you. I'm flattered more than anything.
What's your future in speed climbing? How much farther do you think you can push it?
College is going to be a big obstacle for me. I'm just trying to find a school where I continue both my speed climbing and my sport climbing. So as long as I'm still in youth, then I'm just going to keep training.
Yeah, it's going to be one of the highlights for me that I'm going to take away from this weekend, seeing that in speed climbing. Really kind of turned my mind around a little bit about the sport, just how exciting it can be to watch. Max, what are you going to take away from that?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said earlier, it's one of the most incredible things I've seen in live sport in a long time, and I'm privileged to be sitting next to the man who helped to bring that about. Thanks a lot, John.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Congratulations, John.
Sweet.
Really appreciate you stopping by and talking with us, and enjoy the victory tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick look at the men's scores here, and this is not how I think people would have filled out their scorecards if you were guessing ahead of time. We're really focusing on the rivalry between Danny Woods and Vasily Vorotnikov, and one of those days for them, finishing 7th and 8th. But at the top of the leaderboard, Brad Weaver with a decisive victory. Really, just an impressive performance.
It's pretty incredible. It's almost an exact reversal of the way these climbers came into finals.
Yep.
But personally, I'm not surprised with the way Brad performed. I got to climb with Brad a lot when we were setting for SCS Youth Nationals last year, and he's one of the most talented climbers I've ever met. So I'm really happy to see this result for Brad. Seems like he's finally getting his chance to sit in the limelight.
Yeah, big congratulations to Brad. And to Noah Ridge, who improved his position again, 2nd place, followed by Rob D, 30 years old.
Rob D.
Still getting root on the podium, still bringing it. As we look at the women's scores, big bunch up there at the top. The ordering is not quite correct there. Delaney Miller is going to be the winner based on count back to qualifiers, followed by Sasha DiGiulian and Claire Burfine, all deserving their spots on the podium. Anything else surprise you with this?
Not really. Maybe the route was just a hair too easy, but it seems like the people that deserve to be on the podium based from their performance in qualifiers are on the podium, so everything is as it should be.
Yeah, women's definitely went more to chalk, if you will. So we welcome you back inside the booth here, Max Olatukin, Brian Runnels. Max, this is an incredible evening. Let's go down to awards and give out these awards to these athletes.
Absolutely, Brian.
Thanks for your patience, folks. Let's go ahead and do the Speed Awards ceremony here. Starting with the ladies' Speed National Championship Awards. In 3rd place from Zero Gravity, Jacqueline Wu. In 2nd place from Team Texas, Danielle Rogan. And in 1st place, our 2014 SCS Speed National Champion from Hoosier Heights, Meagan Carr. Congratulations, ladies. And our men, actually we'll be missing one of our members here. In 3rd place, Ryan Strickland. Ryan Parkstone Summit. In 2nd place, Stanislav Corcoran. Stanislav is already on a flight back to Russia as we speak, so unfortunately he's not going to be standing on the podium for us, but that's okay because my man John Brosler, the 2014 Speed National Champion, is here. Folks, while these guys are standing here on the podium, I want y'all to take a look at that scoring display right there. 4.0 for Russia, 395 for John. I'll take that any day in international competition. Congratulations, gentlemen. Moving right into our sport awards. In 3rd place, out of Team Texas, Claire Burfine. And in second place, Sasha DiGiulian. And in first place, our 2014 SCS Open Sport National Champion for the second year in a row, Delaney Miller. Congratulations, ladies. And for our men, in third place, Rob D'Anastasio. Where is he? I've waited a long time to see this guy on the podium in one of our comps. In second place, Noah Ridge. And in first place, our 2014 SCS Open Sport National Champion, Brad Weaver. Coming out of nowhere, Warstone Summit. Congratulations, gentlemen. Santa Ana, thank you for showing up en masse tonight to support these athletes, to support this event. Thank you, Sender One, for putting on an incredibly efficient, well-organized event, playing a... We appreciate it. I don't know where the after party is. It's not here. Folks, we could also use your help. You're on your way out. Please pick up a piece of trash, throw it in the dumpster. That's a wrap. Thank you.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast booth with Max Olatukin in our last couple minutes here at 2014 SCS Nationals. What a weekend it's been. Speed climbing at the highest level, sport climbing at the highest level. Max, what do you make of this weekend?
Oh, it's been incredible. On the women's side, we saw a result that was much expected, but still super incredible, super exciting to watch.
Very closely contested.
Yeah, absolutely. On the guys' side, a total turnaround, but Brad Weaver, a climber who I greatly admire, he was in the booth earlier, and he predicted that 2 other climbers were going to do the route, but
I think he was just sandbagging us.
He was sandbagging us. He's incredibly strong, and I'm really psyched to see that he's going to have his moment now as the reigning national champion of U.S. sport climbing.
And what about Noah Ridge and Rob D? Noah's a young up-and-coming climber out of Minnesota. He's been dominating comps in the Midwest for a while now. To see him on the national stage, really cool to see that coming out of the Midwest. And Rob D, it's really cool to see him holding down for the old guys.
Noah, a name that a lot of people don't know about, but he's been in the top of the youth climbing game for a long time, and now moving on to SCS, improving on his standing from last year by 1 place. Perhaps next year he can be standing on top of the podium. And Rob D, 30 years old, going strong, competing in national competitions for 15 years now, but I don't think he's ever placed in a national sport climbing comp, so I'm sure he'll be as proud of his effort here as he is with any bouldering accomplishment that he's ever had.
And for the women, we were talking a lot about the youth dynamic. We saw Claire Birdfine in her first SCS Nationals top out the route, finish 3rd place. I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of her. And Sasha DiGiulian back in top form after not even year last year, finished 9th. And then Delaney Miller holding it down, 2nd straight year national champion. It's a very dynamic women's field.
To me, I really enjoy seeing this script come over from ABS Nationals, where we saw 3 teenagers in finals and that next level of competition. And here again we see Claire on the podium, and she's still 15 years old, and she's not even one of the 3 that we saw in finals at ABS. But
that's right.
we see this new class of young climbers really pushing the standards.
Yeah, it's just a matter of time before one of them breaks through and takes national championship either here or at ABS Nationals for sure.
It's been a pleasure all weekend, Brian.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been a great facility here at Sender One. Great that Chris Sharma is hosting this event. Nice enough to stop by and talk with us both nights. Whoa, catch our breath here. Thank our great sponsors that have made this live broadcast possible all weekend. Want to thank the North Face, Evolve, Kylash, Scratch Labs, Sterling Ropes for keeping all these climbers safe. Also want to thank Cliff Bar, Sender One for hosting this event, Climbing Magazine, Entrepreneur, White Mountain School, and our great hold sponsors, Technic, E-Grips, So Ill, and Motivation Volumes.
Absolutely, Brian.
Max, it's been an incredible weekend. Want to thank USA Climbing, the entire LT11 broadcast crew for making this happen. Max, Jen, Jordan, John, back stateside, Jonathan, the sound guy, young Stevie, Kmart, everyone else on the broadcast team, all the volunteers at Sender One. It's been a great weekend.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. We look forward to seeing you guys next time.
Yeah, remember, everybody, stay brave, stay humble, and go climbing. Good night.